Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. So we're getting a little garden work done today. We've got some good news on the garden and some not so good news. So what we got going on today?
I was just looking, something bit the top out of that tomato right there.
Oh, I see that. What would that have been?
I don't know, it's already budding back out, but that's interesting. The rest of them look just fine. We got one more over here. I seen this one a while ago though, that something been nibbling on the leaves of it as well. Like, I mean, they wiped them off, but the rest of them look fine, and I don't see a bug, insect, or anything on that plant.
Look here, I got peas coming in. Me and the kids just like to come out here and eat them just straight off the vine before they ever even start making peas. They're really good that way. But I'm gonna try to save some for some actual green peas. So we went down to the creek garden again just to go check on things, see how things were doing down there. And you saw in a previous video that we went down there to check it, everything was just coming up. It was muddy, we couldn't much walk out in there. Well, y'all, we went down there and everything had been pulled up.
Everything.
Every bean, every piece of popcorn, the crows had been in it. And that's not something we normally have issues with. We don't usually have much trouble with crows. And for whatever reason, I guess after all these years, they've finally discovered that spot or something.
I don't know. They don't bother nothing up here. They don't bother, well, they hadn't been bothering anything down there.
Yeah, because we've planted down there for years.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do today, are we gonna replant it down there? We ain't decided yet.
We are. I think we are. I'm not sure we're going to do it today because it's just wet down there, and I don't know. I don't know. We're going to have to ride down there and look because I don't know what kind of situation it's in. Because it was a little wet in this garden, so I know down there it's probably a little bit too wet to work. But we could just replant back into the rows.
But so what we're gonna do for some insurance purposes is we've got a little extra room in this garden up here at the house. We didn't want to plant the October beans up here because last year they got slappied up with bugs.
Or the green beans. Green beans did too.
Yeah, and the green beans did too. So we were gonna plant them down there and hopefully the bug pressure would be better. But I guess we're gonna replant them up here in this garden to keep the crows from pulling them up.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
Well,
the crows may end up in this garden, but I've never seen them in this garden before. But
well, the dog probably helps with that.
yeah, and the cats and everything
Yeah.
else that's up here.
But it's a little disheartening.
It's a lot
we
disheartening.
were very, very disheartened about it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's real life. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well,
But
the thing that sucks the worst about it is, you know, everything went so good down there. It worked perfect. Everything planted good. It
Yep.
was all coming up so pretty. I mean, it was beautiful. And then we go back, and I'm like, what's happened to it all? And it was just dry enough I could walk out in it. And then Megan come down there, and I was like, I got bad news. Like, we've lost it all.
Yep. And that's just part of it. Planting a garden and stuff, y'all. You're always fighting something, whether it be bugs, weather, deer. Most of the time, our problem is deer, and we've kind of fixed that problem, especially down there. But now I guess we're gonna get us some ribbon.
Yeah, I ordered
Andy's got us some ribbon coming.
ordered some reflective tape off of Amazon that's supposed to be, and my mom has actually used it before. She said it worked really good, so we're gonna try it. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to be here sometime today, but we could go ahead and replant that garden, and it wouldn't have to put it up until things started, or right before stuff started sprouting again. But
One other thing about down there at the creek garden, we used every bit of the seed corn we had for the Japanese hulless popcorn. That took it all.
yeah,
What we planted down there, and all we've got left now, if you've been following us since last year, you know we planted Japanese hulless. You can save the seeds from that, but the bugs got in it really bad. So who knows if we replant that, if it'll even come up.
well, everybody's been telling me that they think it will, so we're gonna try it.
Let's go, let's show them the good.
Well, let's show them the good. Show them the good. It's right here. It looks great.
That's enough about the bad. We're gonna show you the good now.
Our row of tomatoes is looking great.
Yeah, buddy, they're growing.
So I did have to replant the yellow squash that we planted in this row. The zucchini's coming up. We have a few plants of okra coming up out there, but I think that yellow squash seed that we had was old,
There's our
so it
zucchini.
didn't come up. but that's no big deal. I just
Yeah,
replanted it a while ago.
I'm pretty sure that yellow squash seed was what, at least probably 5.
There's no telling.
It's probably 5 years old, at least.
There's no telling how old it was. So this is a cucumber right here coming up. That's not supposed to be here. That's a seed from last year.
But there's okra.
There's an okra, there's an okra, there's an okra. And right now that's all I see.
All right, and then cucumbers coming up.
Yeah, all the cucumbers are coming up except there's a hill right there that ain't busted through. I don't know, they may have been planted too deep. I about wrapped those up. We're gonna have to chop through this here in just a minute too. But yeah, just about every single cucumber hill is coming up. This one ain't. That might have been too deep too, I don't know. Don't see nothing in there. We'll see if it don't pop up in the next few days. We may stick a few seeds in the ground.
But yeah, they're looking good.
Corn's looking really good. It's a little hippity hoppity. There's some sunflowers that's coming up in amongst the corn, and I've just kind of left them. But all 5 rows of corn are looking pretty good. We got to get in here and clean this up too. And this corn here is done tall enough. We can heal this today when we chop through it.
Right.
But the worst part is right here where I had to replant. The corn's like 2 weeks behind, so that's going to kind of mess it up when it comes time for it to pollinate and everything. But
you had to replant it there and back here, right?
yeah, I had to replant that section and this section right here.
Yeah. So that last row was with the earthway, and these.
The rest of this has been with a house planter.
Right. I don't know what happened there on either one of the rows.
Well, the cutworm got a couple of these that I had to replant.
That's right. I forgot about the cutworm. That's right.
Then we had some that just didn't germinate for some reason.
And then the cabbage just gets bigger by the day.
Yeah, boy, this cabbage is doing it.
It is doing it to it, and it's making a head down in there.
Like she just said, we're going to replant our green beans and October beans up here in this garden. I am using my earthway planter today simply because those October bean seeds are so big. I don't have me a plate fixed for that house planter yet, and I do have a plate that works with them on the earthway, so I'm just, no more than I'm planting, I'm just going to put it in here with this thing. But my green bean seeds here, these are jade bush beans. Here we go with this thing that's hard to push. Golly. You forget just how hard it is to push after you get used to that other one. And yes, y'all, this time I did run me a string too. So just in case you're new to the channel, these are probably our favorite bean, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
These are what most people call October beans. They're the variety of Supremo bean. We went for years without planting them, and we finally found them from Hoss. And gosh, y'all, these, if I could only plant one bean, this would be the bean we'd plant. These are just the best thing there ever was.
And coming from a girl that absolutely loves pintos, these right here are right up there with pintos. Andy thinks they're way better than pintos.
Yeah, they're better.
I put them in the same category. They're delicious.
I think they're way better. A pinto, these are like leftover pintos.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe them. But anyways, I'm using the lima bean plate on my earthway planter for these. And we don't have very many of these left, so we might not have enough to replant that down yonder.
May not, if that's all we got left.
I think we might have some left from last year, though. I was just thinking about that. Well, our insurance policy is planted.
Hopefully it's
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully. You know, as wet as that ground is, those will probably be up in a few days, even if it don't rain. So Jacob, if you want to go around these tomato plants, look, what you'll do is just kind of pull them up a little dirt around each one of them. what Mama always said, you got to give them some love. See, those over there, they got mulch up around their base. These out here in the dirt, you want to pull up some dirt right around each plant. You think you got that?
Mm-hmm.
Just don't chop the plant off. Just pull you a little dirt right around the base. There you go. Work all the way around it. Yeah. And just keep it going. Perfect. He's got it, I believe.
Yep. Good job, little man.
So in between our cucumbers here, we'll just chop the weeds out of them. But I want to show you, in case you're new to corn and don't know that much about it, I want to show you, to me, this is a pretty important step, is getting dirt healed up around the corn. So in a garden like this, like if I was out in my fields and stuff, I'd do this with a tractor. You'd have your plow set under the tractor and roll the dirt up to it. But up here in this garden, we just simply take a hoe and pull dirt right up to it like that right there. And then we'll go back down the other side. So once I go out that way, then I'll come back down this side. I got a little one right there. Don't want to cover him up. But I come right down just like it right there. And that right there is going to help support that corn. And it's going to have brace roots that come out in here. So you're not hurting a thing if you wrap up some of that stalk with the soil there. And like I said, I feel like that right there is a pretty important part because that helps stabilize this corn once it gets tall. If you get a good windstorm, you've got that dirt piled up around that the base of that stalk. It just helps hold everything up. Corn likes being healed. So let's get to it.
Yeah, go up there and let Dave show you how to do it.
You want to go up there and go around the cucumbers? Huh?
We'll go around the corner.
You want to go around the corner? We're going to have it done here in just a few minutes, and then we can go. We might go try to work that garden up yonder. I ain't made up my mind yet. I think first I'm going to try to plant them watermelons.
No, it's a sunflower. Yeah, just let him live.
Hey, Daddy.
Huh?
We had a sunflower grow.
Yeah, I know it.
I'm gonna meet those two.
Well, we got it done for the first time this year.
Man, it looks so pretty.
Yes, it does.
If it wasn't for those two spots I had to replant out there, that'd be a really pretty patch of sweet corn. Now we'll probably hill it one more time before, you keep hearing us say we're going to put straw out around it. I think we'll hill it one more time, let it get just a little bit more height. Let those that we got replanted, let them get tall enough to be healed up really good. And at that point, I think we're going to put straw around it and lay it by. And we'll be the same way for everything up here. Probably go through it one more good time, especially if we've got rain coming for a week. We're not going to be able to get in and work no way. So after that spell's over with, get in here and clean everything up real good and cover it all in straw, and hopefully this garden will just be ready to make us some vegetables.
That's right.
Well,
It's coming.
What do you think? Let's ride up there to the potato patch and see about tearing up that spot we want to plant our watermelons, because we really need to get those watermelons transplanted.
All right.
So if it'll till up and it's not gonna make a mess, we'll get them planted, and then we may even try to clean up the potatoes.
Okay.
Run the tractor through it too, but it's gonna take us a while up there. We'll be up there for a while.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Sounds like a plan. We'll see how muddy it is.
Yeah, I know. I'm scared it's gonna be muddy, but sometimes we just gotta do it. I guess we're getting ready to find out how wet this is. Hey, just in case anybody's wondering, I actually see a couple of tater bugs right there. But we ended up using some spinosad on the potato bugs, and seems that it's really knocked them out. But we're gonna plant this whole little section right here in watermelons. I guess we're gonna find out if it's too wet or not. It looks like it's working good. It's a little bit wet out here on this end, but I think it's going to work.
Watermelons you saw us start, what, has it been a month ago?
At least a month. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we started these from seed. We wanted to get a head start. We usually just plant them straight in the ground from seed, but we have trouble with the weed pressure when the plants start binding out and stuff. So we wanted to see if we could give them a head start on the weeds and see how that does. But we've got Charleston Gray, Jubilees. What's the other one?
I don't know. Hang on. I've done forgot.
Crimson Sweet?
Yeah, Sugar Babies.
Sugar Babies. That's what it is. Okay. So we're going to plant them up here. Watermelons take lots of room. I don't guess they have to take lots of room, but we're just going to let them do their thing. So.
Yep. And so our plan with this is too, maybe not today, but once we've got them planted, we're not going to come in here and cultivate them or anything. We're going to put down a pretty thick layer of straw. And so not only will we be putting a mulch out to hopefully keep the weeds out of our watermelons, we'll also be putting something out that should help, in theory, build the land up too for future crops. So we've got what, 18?
Something like that.
So I guess we'll just go right down the middle here. Y'all might see that dark dirt out there. That's actually compost. I bought a whole dump truck load of compost and brought it up here and just dumped it in this spot because I knew I was going to plant watermelons here. And it's amazing. A dump truck load didn't go near as far as I thought it was going to. But that's what the dark stuff is you see out there. So that's not the natural color of our soil here. But they need to be planted, and I'm going to show you why. See that? They're rooted in just right. Like if they go much longer, they're going to be root bound. But we're going to start with the Charleston Grays. And these Charleston Grays are seeds we saved.
We had a random one come up in the pasture.
How do you get these out?
I guess we fed it to the chickens and they left a seed. That's the only thing I can figure out why it came up in the middle of our pasture.
Yeah,
But
I
we
imagine
left
so.
it, and since it was out there by itself, I mean, who even knows if it was a true Charleston Gray? It looked like Charleston Gray, so that's what I said it was. But I saved the seeds out of it, so
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna see.
about say that those will do better than any of these.
Think so?
I think they will.
Well, I can't believe they even come up, honestly.
We'll
I
find
had
out.
my doubts.
So y'all look, keep them all separate, and we're gonna try to keep them together as we go.
Well, I'll put down here at the end that these are Charleston Grays, okay?
Okay.
There's you another one.
Take them out for me. Please?
This hoe just comes in perfect for everything.
Okay, come on. All right. Be patting the dirt around them
Please. Give me.
Oh.
In there.
very gently.
Is this a Charleston Gray?
Yeah. Cover it all up.
I would just want to. I just cover it down a little.
You go plant yours in that hole over there.
It just fell. It fell out.
You gotta be careful.
Why'd you cover the other part? I got it.
Act like that circle's a button.
Did that come out of this? Bring it on.
Do you know how I get mine?
How?
Like this.
So we've run out of plants. Well, that's 18 watermelons right there. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we've got enough room for 6 more plants. So y'all, this is just the kind of people we are. We just realized that we were looking in the toolbox, in the glove compartment of the Kubota, and we had watermelon seeds in there from last year when we planted our watermelon patch. So who knows whether they're still good or not. Like, they've been in the glove box of that thing since last year.
I know, we totally forgot.
I'm going to say they're probably still just fine, but you don't know because they've been out in humidity and everything else. I mean, that thing's not sealed off. But either way, we're just going to throw some seeds in these last few hills here and see what happens. We've got some Georgia rattlesnake watermelon
And the yellow
dog, right?
yellow dog, watermelons.
And we don't have very many seed at all, so we'll have to.
Hey,
Oh.
where's seeds?
We're going to put 3 in a hole, just like we do when we do cucumbers.
Oh, they're big.
Now put them in that hole, and then we're not going to cover them up deep.
Just put a little dirt over them, okay?
Yeah, just rake a little over them. More than that.
Just took it to heart.
Yep, about like that right there. We probably got just enough seed in here to do those 3 hills. Look at those little things. Those are some little watermelon seed.
Them yellow watermelons, though, we grew them last year. Was it last year?
No, it was year before
It
last.
was the year before last we grew them.
They're pretty, ain't they? These are coated seeds.
But we planted those yellow watermelons before, and they are very good. They were actually Jacob's favorite.
Well, had we known we had these seeds in the Kubota, we'd have probably
Started these.
started these too.
Yeah.
But we didn't know.
Jacob, look at these watermelons.
Well, the watermelons are planted. I'm pretty excited. So I need to fertilize, and I'm also going to throw gypsum by these, just like I done the tomatoes, because while we haven't had that big of an issue with it, blossom end rot is a thing on watermelons as well. Just like I done with my tomatoes, I'm throwing a handful down by each side of the plant. And I just want to say, I don't claim to be no expert on growing watermelons, because we've had extreme failures and we've had extreme successes with watermelons, and every time we do it the exact same way. I want to say around here that it kind of just depends on the weather more than anything. Making it rain fertilizer. This should be a plenty biome, but we'll find out when the time comes.
So on one of the last videos you saw was processing our meat birds. One of my most favorite things about around processing time is eating the fresh chicken. Y'all, if you've never had fresh chicken, I'm not talking about fresh from the grocery store. I'm talking about fresh off the farm chicken. My goodness, they ain't nothing like it. I absolutely love it. I actually, a few years ago, I used to, when I was processing by myself, I would do like 10 one day, and maybe later on the week I'd do 10 more. And one thing I loved about doing it that way is that we had lots of fresh chicken to enjoy. But so what we're going to do today is we're going to put this little fella in the smoker, and so we'll have smoked chicken tonight. And what I'm doing right now is just kind of patting it dry-ish. We want to do that first. I'm also going to try some smoked potatoes tonight. My sister-in-law told me about this recipe that she tried recently with smoked potatoes, so I'm going to try that too. But I'm going to do that. Got it all dry. I've got me an orange here, a little orange, and I'm going to cut that in about 3 pieces. And I like to just squeeze that orange juice on the chicken. And then I'll put this in the cavity. And then I just sprinkle it with a little salt and pepper. And these fresh chickens have enough flavor that that's all they need. That is all they need. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing like a backyard rooster this way. Their meat is just a little different. These are Cornish cross meat birds, which are bred for meat, just like a Black Angus cow is bred for beef. So, you know, they're quite a bit more meaty. The meat's a lot tenderer than a rooster. Usually with backyard roosters or spent hens, you know, the best thing to do with them is different soups and things. So they make good canned chicken. But let's get this guy out in the smoker. I haven't put any wood chips in here yet, so it's probably not smoking yet. There's a few left from last time, but I just lay that straight on the rack there. And it'll probably take it a couple of hours to get done. But oh, it's gonna be so worth it.
Megan is working on supper, getting that started, which is not quite supper time, but she's going to be smoking a chicken, and so she don't want to leave that. So I'm going to go up here, take the Kubota, and plow through my potatoes and see if I can't get them halfway cleaned up. And I'm going to use the rolling cultivators on those. I've got to do a little adjusting, so they'll do a little bit more plowing, but that's no problem. We can do that real quick. But let's go get this done. I'm ready to get that potato patch cleaned up.
decently tender. So I'm gonna scoop them into a glass dish here. And these are actually, believe it or not, y'all, these are still our potatoes that y'all saw us get up. I believe it was the end of August last year. They have kept so well this time. But I'm just gonna spoon these off into here. Now this is not something that I've tried before, but I've heard that they are spectacular, so I'm excited to try them. I like a tater about any way you want to fix it, so I'm sure I'll like it this way too. Now we're gonna do a little salt and pepper. Onion powder and garlic powder. And a couple of spoonfuls of mayonnaise. Actually, she said a spoonful of mayonnaise and a spoonful of sour cream. I ain't got no sour cream right now, so mayonnaise it is. And we're gonna mix all that together. I'm gonna go sit these in the smoker while I milk the cow and let them smoke for a little bit, and then we'll put cheese on top of them and put them back in the smoker.
Let's give this a try. Like I said, I'm hoping it's not too wet. I'm not gonna let my back plows down very far at all. I just want them to kind of scratch the cracks out, because I'm afraid if I let them down too far, it's gonna start pulling up clods and everything, so I don't want that. But anyways, I may end up, like I always say, I may end up having to adjust the plows. If I do, that's totally fine. But here we go. I want to show y'all something real quick. I had a moment. The plow's supposed to be turned that way. Not that way. Which the camera may not really pick that up. But I had it adjusted to where it's pulling dirt away from the plant instead of pushing dirt towards the plant. And I really don't know what I was thinking. Like I said, I had a moment, but I fixed it. Funny thing is, I knew something didn't look quite right. I just couldn't wrap my head around what it was. But now I know. Don't judge me for that. It just happens sometimes. Alright, so I'm gonna back up and redo this row. Still got some adjusting to do. As you can see, I'm plowing way too close to my potatoes. Matter of fact, I actually got one right there. So, I know it ain't gonna do it much good, but I'm gonna stick it back in the ground. It's probably done. And right there, I got one right there too. Alright, so I'll show you the problem. We're too close right here, so I've got to slide this one out and slide that one over there out. Okay, now you can see these things are sitting farther apart now. So let's try this again. Maybe I won't make a mess out of my potatoes.
Let's take a quick check on our chicken and our potatoes. The potatoes are looking wonderful. And look at that chicken. It's not quite done yet. We've probably still got about another 30-ish minutes on the chicken by just looking at the temperature. So, oh, I can't wait to try it.
Okay, I'm going into the third row now, and I think I finally got these things adjusted the way I want them. You see on that second row, it looks so much better, and I didn't tear up my potatoes like I did on this first row. So, hoping I got everything right now. I made one more quick adjustment, and now I'm going to really lay into it. Hopefully we got these things cleaned up by the time I get done. They're just about too big to plow through, but it's working now. Man alive, don't that make a world of difference. God, it looks so good now. But boy, the spots where the potatoes ain't really growing shows up now. But you see what I'm talking about? They were about too big to sort of lay them over, but they'll stand up and be just fine. But I was able to get those rolling cultivators adjusted so that I'm actually throwing dirt to them too. So I healed them up pretty good. Let's see if you can see that. Hopefully you can tell the heel I've got there. And you know, I don't know for sure, but this may be the last time they're cultivated through. So it's a good thing I got in them when I did. Now I'm not going to cultivate down this row. This is the row we showed you earlier. Just got the onions and carrots. See my onions there? Right there. Right there. Now these were planted pretty late, so they're not no size at all yet. And then our carrots out here are looking pretty good too. But I really just don't want to risk wrapping them up or anything. And where we've got all this cleaned out down the road, this buckwheat on the side ain't really hurting anything. But look at the carrots in there. And they're like that all the way down to the end. So I'm pretty happy with those carrots. But look at the potatoes, man. They look much better cleaned out. Much better. Maybe here, right here's a good one. You can see the ridge. All right, you can see down here's the bottom, And then up here's the top. So I've got me a pretty good ridge up around these potatoes. And typically I would have ridged them up with the disc, but I really wanted to give these rolling cultivators a try, because once you get those things adjusted right, in my opinion, there ain't nothing no better to plows. Plows no better than a rolling cultivator. Well, let's get back down the road.
Well, here's the finished product. We're fixing to dig in. These potatoes, I've already tried one. They are phenomenal. And there's my finished chicken. I also made some homemade vanilla ice cream that we're going to have for dessert. What is the use of having a milk cow if you can't have all the ice cream you want? This is my philosophy. But anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Hope you might have learned a little something, and we're going to eat us some supper. And y'all have a good one.